Welcome to Finance Forum. Today, we're tackling something that's often overlooked but hugely important. That is MER. In this episode, I'll break down what MER is and why it exists. Real-life examples using the S&P 500 and Nasdaq index funds. High MER versus low MER. What's the difference? How to find your fund's MER. When paying a higher MER might make sense. If you've ever asked yourself, why aren't my investments growing as fast as I expected? This episode might have the answer. Let's jump in. What is MER? MER stands for Management Expense Ratio. It's a percentage that tells you how much of your money goes to cover the cost of running a fund. Let's say you invest $10,000 in a mutual fund with a 2% MER. That means every year you're paying $200, even if your investment goes down or stays flat. Now, this $200 doesn't come as a bill. It's automatically deducted from your returns. It's invisible, but it's real. MER typically covers the fund manager's salary, administrative fees, marketing and legal costs, brokerage or transaction costs, and while 1% or 2% doesn't sound like much, compounded over 20 to 30 years, it can take a massive bite out of your returns. Let's think of this in non-financial terms. Imagine you bought a bag of rice every month and someone secretly took a scoop out of it before handing it over. Every single month. You might not notice it at first, but by the end of the year, you're missing a whole bag. That's MER. Example, S&P 500 Index. Let's talk about a real-world example. The S&P 500, which tracks the 500 biggest companies in the US, like Apple, Microsoft, Google, and Tesla. There are dozens of funds you can invest in to follow this index, but they all have different MERs. Here are two popular ones. Vanguard S&P 500 ETF, ticker VOO, MER 0.03%. Typical big bank mutual fund, MER 2.00%. Let's say you invest $100,000 and both funds grow at 7% per year before fees. Here's what happens over 30 years. VO, MER 0.03%, equals approximately $740,000. Big Bank Fund, MER 2.00%, equals approximately $500,000. That's a $240,000 just from fees. The lesson? Even a small difference in MER can turn into hundreds of thousands of dollars when compounded. It's like filling a bathtub with a slow leak. One has a tiny pinhole, VOO, the other has a gushing crack, 2% MER. Over time, that leak matters. Real example, Nasdaq Index. Let's look at another index, the Nasdaq 100, home to tech giants like Amazon, Meta, Nvidia, and Google. Two common options. iShares, Nasdaq 100 ETF, ticker XQQ in Canada, MER 0.39%. Mutual fund tracking Nasdaq from major bank, MER 2.5%. Say you invest $50,000 and the Nasdaq returns 10% annually before fees after 20 years. XQQ 0.39% equals approximately $328,000. Big Bank Fund 2.5% equals $246,000. That's over $80,000 lost to fees for doing the exact same thing, following the same index. So now you might be wondering, why do some funds charge more than others? Let's talk about that. Why are MERs so different? MERs vary for two main reasons. 1. Passive versus active management. Passive funds like VOO or XQQ just track an index. No one is picking stocks. They're cheaper. Active funds have managers trying to beat the market. They buy, sell, research, and charge you more. 2. Branding and distribution. Big banks and institutions often sell funds with higher MERs because they rely on trust and convenience. Sometimes you're not just paying for management, you're paying for sales reps, ads, and brick-and-mortar costs. But here's the thing. Most active funds don't beat the index, and when they do, the MER often cancels out the extra return. This doesn't mean all high-fee funds are bad, but it means you should know what you're paying for and what you're getting. 5. Where to find the MER. So, where do you find a fund's MER? 1. Fund fact sheets. Every mutual fund and ETF in Canada must publish a fund facts document. 2. Online platforms. If you're using Wealthsimple, Questrade, or your bank's investing portal, the MER will be listed. 3. Ask your advisor. If you have a financial advisor, ask directly. What's the MER on this fund? Are there cheaper alternatives? If the MER isn't easy to find, or someone avoids the question, that's a red flag. You deserve to know what you're paying for, always, when higher MER can be okay. Now let's be fair. Is paying a higher MER ever worth it? Yes, if you're getting real value. Examples: a global fund that gives access to international markets, a balanced fund that manages your asset allocation, a specialty fund with access to sectors like renewable energy or healthcare, a robo-advisor that offers rebalancing and auto-investing, e.g. Wealthsimple has MER plus platform fee. And sometimes, people pay more for peace of mind, and that's okay, as long as you know you're paying for it. The key is awareness. High MER isn't evil. It's just a cost, and like any cost, it needs to be justified. Until next time, invest wisely.